The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. It seems as though because I'm not from the state of Oklahoma that certain college football fans in that state are telling me that my opinion doesn't matter, that I shouldn't be able to speak upon the Bedlam rivalry in such a way. But like I told this guy, Okie Pokie State, my opinion of them, if I want to call them Okie Pokie State, and if I want to hold an opinion that this really ain't a rivalry, my opinion does matter because I'm college football. I love all of college football. And when I told him that, he said, "You act like you're full of yourself." No. I just said that I like all of college football and its traditions, most of them. And basically, you're the one that's the elitist telling me that because I'm not from the state of Oklahoma, that my opinion doesn't matter. Let's talk about it. You stick your left hand in, you stick your right hand out. You got Okie Pokie State shaking all about. Bedlam's 90-19, and that's what it's all about. That's right. Because I give Oklahoma State a nice little nickname, just a comedic little jab of Okie Pokie State, we got Oklahoma fans on here losing their mind, losing their noodle. This guy, Fred Polik, I might not pronounce his name right. Check him out on Fred Extras. He got a little blog or whatever. Get on there and tell him how you feel about him telling me that as an outsider, and I'm not from Oklahoma, because I don't live in Oklahoma, I don't have a right to have an opinion, or my opinion doesn't matter, is what he said about the Oklahoma State rivalry in Bedlam. And just like I told him, it does matter because I am college football. And when I said that, he took that literal like I was some kind of king dingling or something. Well, that's not what I meant, Freddie boy. That's not what I meant at all. All I'm saying is I'm educated on all of college football because I love college football in general and all of its traditions. Well, most of them, not all of them. And I don't like certain things that USC does or Auburn putting shit paper in the trees down there, or used to anyway. They don't have a tree anymore. But this guy, and I'm going to put his little conversation we had up here in a little bit, and he just told me, man, basically that Oklahoma fans, for the most part, most of y'all, actually root for Oklahoma State when you're not playing. And I said, well, that's fine. But that just, to me, that just says it's not really a rivalry because you don't really root for your competition unless it's going to help you out. Like, for example, I despise Auburn. I don't root for Auburn unless I really have to. If for some reason Auburn beating somebody would put Alabama in the playoffs or something, if Auburn were to beat Georgia and it's going to put Alabama in the playoffs, then yeah, I'd root for Auburn, sure. But if Auburn's playing like, I don't know, someone like Miami or something, I'm going to root for Miami because Auburn, to me, is a direct competitor in this state for Alabama when it comes to recruits and coming to being successful. It'd be just like Coke and Pepsi rooting for each other. That's not going to happen, you know? Not if they really consider each other competitors. Now, you know, Coke may root for RC Cola to clear some capital or maybe do well on Wall Street or something. But they sure as hell ain't going to do it for Pepsi. And the reason why is because neither one of them consider RC Cola a threat. Just like Oklahoma and Texas, for the most part, over 100 years, do not consider Okie Pokie State a threat. to the long term. That might change. But so far, it hasn't. Oklahoma State, under Mike Gundy, has gotten better. Under Les Miles, they were decent. Under Pat Jones, they were decent way back in the day. But for the most part, outside of 3 coaches, Oklahoma State hasn't been shit. They're not only not even a rival for Oklahoma, hell, they've lost a few matchups to Tulsa. And this guy's going to tell me because he's a Bedlam father, because his son went to both universities, that means that he's got to root for both universities. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Your son could go to Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Tulsa, Kansas, Kansas State. Hell, he could go to Slippery Rock. But in the end, you need to choose a team, in my opinion. You need to choose a side. And to me, it just, I don't know, man. I guess it's an extenuating circumstance in a way, since, someone attended both universities. But when it comes to sports, you got to have, if for it to be considered a rivalry and for me not to make fun of it, it's got to be close, man. Like Oklahoma and Texas. You see Oklahoma holding hands with Oklahoma State and going kumbaya into the SEC? No. They went with Texas because over a course of history, and this is just the way it is, over a course of history, Oklahoma and Texas have been the cash cows. They have been the teams that have carried a few conferences and their supposed rivals for a very long time. Texas has carried teams like Texas Tech, for example, and Baylor. Oklahoma's carried Oklahoma State forever, even when they were back in the Big 6 or the Big 8. And then they merged with the Southwest Conference and made it to Big 12. It's hard for me to, I can't fathom it. I understand, like I said, rooting for your rival when it benefits you, man, but to get pissed off and actually threaten somebody, and he says he didn't threaten me, but he said, hey, you'll get your teeth knocked out. That's his way of getting around it and skirting around it and not manning up and saying he wants to knock my teeth out because I keep calling them Okie Pokie State. Well, I call them that because they're a joke to me, man. Outside of Mike Gundy and a few other good seasons under Pat Jones when he had Barry Sanders. We all know Barry Sanders was bought and paid for. Yeah, I said it. Outside of that, man, Oklahoma State hasn't earned my total respect because they haven't always been around. They're a Johnny-come-lately to me. And I can say that and be fair with it because I've been around long enough to say it. Now, if I was born in 1995 or something like that, then yeah, I might not be able to sit down here and say that. But I've been watching college football since the late 70s, early 80s. And since I've been watching college football, Oklahoma State, at best, is a mid-carder. They're one of those teams that normally go 7-5, maybe 8-4, occasional 10-win season, speckled in there when, just like when the sun shines on a dog's ass. So, you had your chance, Okie Pokie State, to make this a rivalry. You've had over 100 years of chances to make this a rivalry. Now, it's coming to an end, and now we're playing it this week. Once again, maybe one last time, maybe 2 last times. We'll see about that. So enjoy it while you can. Go ahead and get your shots in Oklahoma while you can, because it won't be happening again for quite some time probably, because Mike Gundy don't want to schedule the game. He pushed out about it. So you might get it to 90-20 or 90-21 if you're lucky. But like in years past, even when Oklahoma has down teams, they're able to beat Oklahoma State, because when Oklahoma State gets on the big stage like they did this year when they got in the top 10, what did they do? They got blew out 3 times. Not once, not twice, 3 times. That's almost some LeBron James, Miami Heat World Championship bullshit chatter. Y'all got blew out 3 times, man, and finally beat Iowa State because they have no offense. When y'all get on the big stage, when y'all get in the top 10 and have a chance to do something to make the playoffs, you always choke it away somehow. So, yeah. You guys and gals tell me, you Oklahoma fans tell me, do I have a right to come in here and voice my opinion about the Bedlam series not really being a Bedlam series? I mean, who the hell calls it Bedlam anyway? Every time I hear that shit, man, I think of the Flintstones. I think of Bedrock. I think of some funny-ass cartoon show. Because that's what it is to me, man. It's a cartoon show. It's 90-19. The only real team in that state it's been a real force for 100+ years is the Oklahoma Sooners. Not Oklahoma State, not Tulsa. Maybe Northeast Oklahoma Junior College. They're pretty good in junior college football, right? But yeah, don't come in here preaching to me and tell me I can't have an opinion about something just because I'm not from that state or I'm not a fan of the two teams. Because I'm a fan of college football, fella. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also, there's a little heart option down here if you don't mind. Hit that. Throw me a few dollars in the coffers. Get me off the YouTube teat, even if you are pissed off at me for saying what I just said today. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.